All right. Well, I'm super excited. Well, I just want to say welcome everyone to the first Audio Leadership Club member spotlight. So, we're kicking off something brand new in the Audio Leadership Club, a member spotlight series where we shine a light on the incredible leaders, creators, and change makers within our community. And who better to launch this series with I should say, other than the amazing Zakia Ringgold. And I would love to say our topic is amazing. And I feel like she's the perfect person to shine a light on it as well. Today's topic is turning a hobby into a business. And I would like to say many of us start with a passion, but how do you transform that passion into a profitable and sustainable business? And I can definitely say Zakia has done just that. And tonight she's sharing with us her journey, some really cool insights, and real world strategies for making it happen. So, Zakia, first off, I just want to thank you for joining us this
Well,
evening.
hello, Amalia. Hello, everyone. And I am so excited to be here and share a bit about my story. I am loving everything about the Audio Leadership Club. So, hello, 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 hello.
I love it. Well, before we dive into today's topic, I would love to know where you're streaming to tonight. I know we both are using Restream, and Restream just allows us to, I think, three platforms each. So where are
So,
you
we are
streaming?
live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. I do see some of our YouTube viewers over there, and we might need to explain a little bit about audio leadership because they're used to seeing me on video. So, this will be a little bit different for them.
Absolutely. So the cool thing is the Audio Leadership Club, we do highlight podcasters as well as audio only live events, which is the type of event we're doing today. And we thought it'd be fun to do our member spotlight series so you guys can see how this works. It's almost like a visual podcast. So instead of just listening to an audio, you get to listen to the audio but also see a few visuals. All right. Oh,
No,
go
I
ahead,
just
Zakia. My
love that.
apologies.
And you all have introduced me to that because I have always had my video on, but I am loving not having to have my hair done. I can be sitting and relaxing. So I'm really excited about it.
I love it. And now with just online and technology, especially LinkedIn, we have a global audience. And we learned that doing audio only events allow for more of our global audience who are in different time zones to actually join us without those stresses of being on camera and having your hair and makeup done.
Exactly.
All right. So before we jump into our topic, I would love to give shout out. So if you are tuning in live from either my live stream or Zakia live stream, let us know in the comments so we can give you a shout out. And I do see a few people here with us. I just want to say hi, Ali. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to give shout outs, I think this is from your YouTube
Yep,
channel,
and that's
Zakia.
customer service live. Claudia is telling me that she didn't get her triple butter blend, so I have to follow up with her after this stream.
Awesome. And then we have Chris, who actually will be joining us on stage. So we're going to send you that link a little later for when we do live Q&A, but I will not forget. All right, thank you. And you know what? I did see, oh, he's actually wanted to stream. So with Restream, you have to join the event before it goes live in order to stream it to other platforms. That's another thing I love about our community. Our members love sharing it and putting it out there for more visibility. So I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you. I love Ali. You see his
We're
comment,
both
Zakia?
irresistible. I love that. How would you say that in French, Ali? I know it takes
I'm
like
waiting
5
on
to
his
10
comment.
seconds for that to come back.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Ali, we do look forward to, if we have time at the end, we love to welcome both you and Chris behind the scenes with us live on stage. And he is coming 1 a.m. in Belgium. See, this is a prime example of audio only events. He's tuning in at 1
Mm,
a.m. in the morning.
that's But that's the power of community. They will show up to support you and share and just be there. But Ali does some amazing stuff with community. So I'm happy to see him in the audience.
I love it. Well, we can jump in. So, for those of you that are just now joining in or just now tuning in, again, today's topic is turning a hobby into a business. And we are celebrating an incredible member of our Audio Leadership Club community, and that is Zakia Ringgold. So, Zakia, I'm going to hand the mic over to you so you can properly introduce
For
yourself.
sure. So, I'm Zakia Ringgold, everyone. My entrepreneurial journey started by accident with a simple bar of soap and a live stream from my dining room in 2015. I was working full time, raising my daughters. I had two daughters, 10 years apart, that I would come home in the evening and I would turn my camera on and share my hobby, and I'm putting air quotes that you cannot see because at the time that's exactly what it was. But what began as a hobby quickly turned into a business when I realized that people weren't just interested in my products. They were interested in my family. They were interested in the journey that I was on. And they also wanted to learn how to make what it was that I was making, how to sell it, the technology tools that I was using. And so by leveraging like digital media, community engagement, my actual products, I actually built a handcrafted soap company that allowed me to travel to both Ghana and China. I've self published 4 books. I speak at national conferences, regional conferences on both the tech to grow your handmade business as well as how to make your products. And then I also did the pivot. You know, whenever anybody says 2020, there's always some story that's going to change or something happened. And what happened for me was I doubled down in all of that technology I was using the previous 5 years to start producing virtual conferences. And these weren't pre recorded conferences, they were 100% live. So that started a whole new business. So if you're keeping count, that's business number 3, where during the pandemic and for the next 3 years, we ended up producing over 150 virtual conferences for libraries, universities, and nonprofits. But today, what I focus on is empowering entrepreneurs through digital products, live streaming, automation, and proving that with the right tools and mindset, anybody can turn a passion into a very profitable business that they absolutely love.
I love it. And you just had the opportunity to teach a class on a cruise
Yes,
ship,
ma'am.
correct?
How to live stream and leverage
So
AI. It was the Indie Business Cruise. She was actually the lady who runs it, Donna Maria. She's fantastic. But she's celebrating 25 years as a business owner. She was the keynote speaker for my Handcrafted Live event in September. And then she said, "Hey, I have this cruise going on. You want to teach?" I said, "Of course. Yes, absolutely." And so I met some amazing women there and I showed them how to leverage live streaming and talked a lot about leveraging AI to become much more efficient and productive with their content creation. And we went to the Bahamas.
I
We must add that part. That was the icing on the cake.
that's some great icing, but I do want to say for those that are tuning in, would you like to let them know what the QR code is on the screen,
Yeah,
Zakia?
so I know in sharing all of that, that is a QR code that will take you to my website, Business Tech Lab. And that gives you my entire entrepreneurial journey. So you could get to any of the links that I mentioned. You can see in real time the Natural Soap by Zakia, the Live Soap School, Virtual Experience Design Agency, and of course, Business Tech Lab. So if you scan that QR code, it will take you right there and then you can read about it because hearing about me saying it or hearing me say it and actually reading, again, those learning styles. So that's what that QR code is for.
I love it. And for our LinkedIn family, for those of you who are tuning in and you are not connected with Zakia on LinkedIn, here's a QR code to do that as well. And then we will make sure all of these links are in every single comment section that we're streaming to this evening. All right. Well, I have a few questions for you because I cannot wait to dive into the knowledge that you're going to give us this evening. And my first question to you, Zakia, is can you share the turning point when your hobby became a profitable business? What were the key steps that made it happen?
So I think there were two turning points. The first one was when I started leveraging live streaming, right? Because that was where my community was built. That was where I started to learn so much about the various pieces of technology I would need to have a business that was fully sustainable online. So, um, the real turning point with that live streaming component was when people in the audience started asking the question of, where can I buy this soap that you're making? Or how can you teach me how to make this particular product? Because they were watching me teach in the libraries. And that is what kind of planted the seed that it could actually be a business. The second part of that was in 2020, because while I was doing that from 2015 to 2020, it was part time. It was truly a side hustle. There was no full time business. I was working full time, and the soap in the school was 100% part time. But when I produced our virtual soap conference in April of 2020. So just remember that date. We were about 4 weeks into what the world was considering a pivot that we had no idea what it would be about. And we were in a full blown virtual conference. And I had the privilege of being able to share that on my social media platform, and the same librarian that I used to volunteer at, he said, "Can you do that same type of conference for the American Library Association?" So in May of 2020, I was in front of over 600 librarians with a solution on how they could stay connected with their patrons. And so that was when I was able to leave my full time job, and that became the true turning point of being a successful small business owner for 5 years now.
Oh, I love that. And when you said leave your full-time job, I think that is the goal for a lot of us that is trying to turn these passions into successful businesses. Now, you mentioned too that right now you do a lot of technology, AI, and things like that. So, how has leveraging media, community, and technology played a role in your business growth? Any game-changing strategies you recommend?
Well, we wouldn't be in 2025 if I did not mention AI, but that came after, right? So, media, community, and technology have all been the backbones of my growth, right? So, when we talk about that live streaming, that created, I think, instant engagement. People always, I hear a lot of marketers talk about the know, like, and trust factor, but I got a chance to experience that firsthand, and it wasn't a facade that I was putting on to get them to do those things, but the live streaming enabled that to be much faster instead of just having a blog and a newsletter and an email list that takes time. These people would tune in every single day. I went live consistently, 7 p.m. Monday through Sunday with this hobby of making soap. So we built a community, and then my community was so excited. They started going live, doing their unboxings, talking about what happened when I made the product live, right? So technology was a huge part of that, community was a huge part of it. And then a strategy that I swear by, is you document your process. You don't just create at the end once it's final and perfect. Um, they have been with me when I was shipping products in saran wrap. I wasn't worried about it being in the perfect packaging because they get a chance to see your evolution. They become a part of your brand story as well. Now, I said the live streaming was a huge part, but for the last 2 years, the one piece of technology that has exploded in terms of my ability to create proposals, contracts, um, projects for clients, and then, of course, content repurposing is generative AI. And right now, I'm working more on AI agents. So I'm moving beyond just the generative AI and allowing the agents to do the work for me. We have a voice agent that we've built out. So, media, community, and technology are central to all of my brands because it allows me to operate as a solopreneur and then just leverage VAs when it's just kind of grunt work.
What platforms are you using to build out your AI
So I use
agents?
Pickaxe. It's an amazing, well, there's two. One is called Thoughtly. That is a voice agent. And at some point I can give you the number so you can give it a call. I'm using that to actually do all of the sales and customer support for all of my software as a service tools for Business Tech Lab. So we offer email systems, we offer social media marketing tools, um, digital directories, digital signage. So there's the pre acquisition portion where they can call and find out, okay, well, which tool is right for me? Which plan is right for me? Does Zakia offer community? All of those pre sales questions are all handled by an AI agent, and it's a voice agent, which is a bot, but she sounds human thanks to 11 Labs. And it uses natural language processing. So I had to build the knowledge base behind the scenes. And then I also had to give it kind of some use cases of what a particular or an ideal client flow would be like. But all of that was possible because I spent the time learning how to prompt with regular generative AI. And I think this is a piece of what I want to share. Sometimes we are late to the game in terms of adopting technology. But if you think about back when there were pagers, I know I'm dating myself, right? But there were pagers. And at some point, you had to learn how to use a pager so that when cell phones came, you were able to do text messaging. So when laptops and smartphones came, you could then use email. Same thing with these generative AI tools. If you don't learn anything else about them, understand that prompt engineering because it's just going to continue to evolve over time, and then those that are able to embrace it are going to be really, really in a space where they're able to capitalize on that for their own productivity and their own businesses.
I love it, and I definitely need that link so I can share it. And that sounds like a real game changer for solopreneurs that's doing everything on their own, and to have this AI assistant or just be able to give those prompts when people reach out. I really feel like that's going to be a huge time saver as well for them.
Yeah. And it's going to be important. I know a lot of people are worried about AI taking jobs. It's going to be those people that are able to understand their use cases because they have to be trained, right? And you have to be able to constantly evolve with them. So I love the use case when we're solo. The great thing, if I was in a corporate space and I tried to implement something like this, it would probably take about 6 months to get through legal, another 3 months to get through something else, and another 2 months before they sign off on it, and then we're behind the 8 ball. So, there you go.
And
That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. Sorry,
Ab
Amalia.
no, no, you're fine. There was delay. I didn't mean to talk over you. But the truth is, a lot of us, when we go into entrepreneurship, we're doing everything on our own. And when we're brand new, our business is not really making the money to where we can hire someone. So having these type of things at our fingertips really kind of help us grow to where we can get to the point to maybe if we want to hire additional help, we can.
Exactly. And think about maybe 3 years ago, if you wanted to get a video audit or edited, or if you wanted to have all of the pieces created for your podcast or your blog post, let's just take it back to generative AI. you typically would have to either spend a lot of hours doing those things or leveraging these AI tools that can do it in minutes. And then it has analysis built into it, right? So it can tell you, okay, your last three videos sucked or they were amazing. How about you consider doing these next three videos because it understands the algorithms of what's happening in the different content marketing spaces?
And it's making owning and running a business a way ton lot easier.
Yeah.
All right, so my next question to you, Zakia, and this is a big one because as entrepreneurs, we want to make sure we are visible. And I should say, many entrepreneurs struggle with visibility. What are some confidence boosting strategies you've used to showcase your work effectively?
Oh, this is always a tough one. And what I continue to learn and what continues to be refined for me is that confidence is something that comes with practice. But the biggest shift for me was realizing that people aren't looking for perfection at all. And sometimes we're constantly redoing, or let me just add one more piece. And that's not what real people want. They're looking for authenticity. And I know that's an overused word, but for me, those real connections, those customers who have now been with me for 9 and 10 years, I have made mistakes, right? But it was because I dealt with them in a very authentic way. They saw me when it wasn't the greatest, they saw me when it was great. But I remind myself that my knowledge and my experience helps people. So, really getting clear on your intention behind what it is that you're doing. Because oftentimes, if our intention is out of whack, it makes it difficult to keep moving forward. But if you know that deep down you are here to serve people or to help people or to impart the knowledge that you have, you can constantly build that confidence with practice. You got to keep getting on the bike. In this instance, you got to keep hitting that go live button if that's something that you want to do. But that is what's going to build confidence over time, that practice.
I agree. And consistency matters too.
Oh, yeah, that's a hard one sometimes.
Now, what were some of the biggest obstacles you faced in your journey and how did you overcome them?
Hmm. So the first one was mommy guilt. The biggest obstacle was I knew that I was attempting to create a legacy. I am the first entrepreneur in my family. It's not the path chosen. And so, honestly, when I first quit my full time job, I didn't tell a family member for the first 6 months that I had quit. I needed to have money in the bank to show them that I was successful before I actually shared with them that, hey, I'm a full time, I don't work at the hospital anymore. I'm doing this thing on my own. But there was the mommy guilt because people say, "Oh, just go work for yourself." You are never working for yourself. You are working for those clients. You are trading one boss for another type of boss. And without those clients signing those contracts or agreeing to those proposals, you are out of business. And so I think initially I had fell for that 4-hour work week misnomer of, oh yeah, when you work for yourself, you're only going to work 4 hours. That was completely wrong. I work twice as hard for sometimes half the amount of pay, but then on the upside, it's triple the amount of pay that I would have gotten in corporate. And the mommy guilt comes in knowing that I'm doing this because I wanted both the legacy building as well as the freedom to be able to stop what I'm doing and make it to a play or a track meet or those things. But when it conflicts, it's not as easy to do those things. And so just making sure that I have started to carve time out to make sure that I don't miss those important moments because my favorite quote, what is a legacy? It's planting a seed that you may never get to see. And it may be both the good and the bad things. And that's an Alexander Hamilton quote, but I'll stop there.
I feel like I still struggle with the mommy guilt. Like today, I had convention for my job, my day job. And for those that are still balancing a full-time job and their business, and immediately after work, coming here, getting things ready for this event. Now, granted, it is 7:25, and I should say in Eastern Standard Time, so we probably won't finish until 8 or a little bit after 8. Now, I won't really be able to sit down and really ask my daughter how was her day until almost 8 o'clock at night. Now, not all my days are like this, but when we have these particular days, it eats me up inside. It makes me think, am I making the right decisions? And the only thing I keep telling myself is going to be worth it in the end.
For
How did you
sure.
how did you overcome that? The mommy guilt.
I had very clear conversations with both of my girls. And so they knew and they continue to know, but it's a constant, ever evolving. I have set time on Saturdays that's blocked off from 9 to 1 o'clock. That is their dedicated time. Now, on the evenings during the week, typically after 8 p.m., mom's available. But we do have a very clear understanding that if you need me, feel free to say, Mom, I need you. And everything stops with that sentence. And so I never really get over the mommy guilt, but I've created some places and some spaces to make sure that I think that mommy guilt comes from you're supposed, and I hate supposed to be, but and that I don't have another word for it. You're supposed to be there for your children, nurture, take care of, all of those things. But there's only 24 hours in the day. And I think sometimes giving ourselves the grace to be able to do the right thing and knowing, okay, I've carved that time out and I've used that time appropriately, I won't feel bad about that.
I love that. I love that, and I love that dedicated time and just having that conversation with your child to make sure they know, "Hey, if you see me busy, this is the time barrier for this, but this is your uninterrupted time, and then if you need me, everything stops." I love my daughter. She's the type that like, "Well, mom, I don't wanna disturb you." So I probably really have to push in her, "If you need me, nothing else matters."
Exactly.
All right. Well, I have another question for you. And this is like regarding tools and platforms because you are just dripping with gems when it comes to this particular topic. Are there any must have tools or platforms that have helped you scale your business that we should know about?
Oh boy, that's such a hard question, Amalia. Okay. I'm going to break it down into two distinct categories because I run both a product based business and a service based business. So the easier one is the service side, surprisingly. The service side, it's really having a tool called Plutio, Plutio. That allowed me to create contracts, proposals, invoices, project management, client portals, all in one platform. And so I was able to deliver the services to my clients. I was able to, remember, I said I did 150 virtual conferences. And so a lot of that is repeating the same kind of language for the contracts and the proposals, the same kind of pricing structures. So really starting to create, now I have not done this, but I need to. Standard operating procedures becomes important, but that particular tool allowed me to accept payments. It allowed me to get professional contracts out to like these really large universities where they were used to getting contracts in the millions. I didn't get $1 million contract, but it allowed me to present in a way and have everything in one system that works well.
Oh, Zakia, are you still with me? It went out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So that would be the main tool that I would recommend, Plutio. If you are, and And it doesn't have to necessarily be that tool, but it's the functionality of it. If you have a service based business, you need a way to be able to do those key elements, right? So it's making sure you can invoice clients, you can accept payments for what it is that they have, you can protect yourself with contracts, and you can properly manage the project so that you meet all of the deadlines. And your clients get a nice front facing portal. So Plutio is one that I would highly recommend for service-based businesses. On the product side, and this kind of goes to both. I always say there are four primary systems that if you are going to run a business online that you absolutely have to have. Number one is your website, which is your home base. I don't care if that's WordPress, I don't care if it's Shopify, um, Wix, any of them. You have to have a home base. Social media is not your home base. You have to have that place for people to be able to come, learn about what you have, learn about you, your brand, and then be able to do business with you, whether that be booking a call, whether that be booking a consultation, whether that be buying a physical product. I love WordPress and I love Shopify. WordPress is not for the faint of heart. You do have to have the whole maintenance and all of that together to go with it. But if you are strictly selling products, Shopify would be the other one that I recommend. Aside from your website, you also need an email solution. And notice I said website and email before I said anything about social media, because those are the two components that you own as the business owner. I happen to have a software solution, which is VEDA email, but there's several platforms that are out there. You have to be able to capture people's email addresses and stay connected with them. Social media, of course, you have to have a social media presence and leveraging AI tools. And I'll give you some of those tools, but I'm going to give you these foundational systems first, and then you plug in afterwards. And then once you have your social media platforms, then you have to have your own content calendar for how often you're going to send content out to people. And so that it has some kind of a strategy behind it and not a spray and pray in terms of how you're getting it out there. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And for those that are like not really tech savvy, I love that you said you have to have something that capture emails. ConvertKit is also a good one and it's
Hmm.
very user friendly and they have templates that you can use because I feel like the first part is getting those people, getting those emails because sometimes it takes a little nurturing to convert.
It does. The only thing I would say is if somebody is really brand new, go with Mailer Lite because that one is free for your first 1,000 subscribers. It used to be MailChimp that I would recommend to people, but I have an article coming out about this. My biggest mistake when I got started on Periscope is I did not have a way of capturing email addresses. And I grew that following to over 75,000 people. The only email addresses I had were those people that placed orders. So even if you have nothing else, if you have a way of capturing those email addresses, once you're ready to launch your website, you'll have a warm list that you can start with. And the reason I say MailerLite is because as you're getting started, you don't want to pay a monthly fee and you haven't gotten it figured out yet, but you can have a form that people can put their email address in so you can reach out and touch someone once once you're ready to move forward. I don't want you paying a monthly fee if you don't have all your ducks in a row yet.
I agree. And I would like to tell people that are just starting out or testing things, even if you do not have a product in mind yet and you're just in the test phase, capture emails, even if it's like for like live events, for them to subscribe to a newsletter, subscribe to get alerts about events. And then that way, when you do figure out your product, you have a list of individuals that you can send out and let them know what you decided to offer them.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Now, Zakia, What's one question you wish people would ask? I should say, will ask you more often.
Oh. Oh gosh, one thing I wish they would ask, how did you know you were ready? Right?
That's a
Um,
good question.
and the reason I wish that people would ask that is you never 100% know. And I think oftentimes it prevents people from thinking that they are because they don't feel like they're ready. I would say you know that you are ready when you have some systems in place. And this is particularly for those people that are ready to leave their job and become an entrepreneur 100%. I feel like entrepreneurship has this allure to it that isn't 100% accurate, right? There's a lot that happens on the back end that you may not be aware of that makes it look really shiny. And so for you, when you are deciding, I am ready to go all in, I would say make sure that you have 3 months of your financial savings, whatever that looks like, because in business, there's always going to be ebbs and flows. Have an unwavering conviction on what it is that you're doing. You don't want to get the squirrel syndrome of, oh, shiny object, let me try this or let me try that. Or I just listened to this guru that said I should be doing drop shipping, or I just listened to this guru that said I should do affiliate marketing. Get really firm in who you are, what it is that you sell, who you serve, and why you do it for them. Once you have that clear, then you are ready to move forward in your business. There's never going to be a coach, a course, or a consultant that's going to be able to make that decision for you. And just by the way, as an aside, be very careful with online courses, coaches, and consultants. Do your due diligence before you plunk your money down with someone saying, oh, I can help you do X. Research and see, have they done it for themselves? Have they actually got some clients that you can reach out and find, hey, they've actually gotten the results that they're saying that they can teach me with, and you're not their actual business model. Does that make sense, Amalia?
It does. And make sure what they're trying to educate you on fits what you're trying to do. You'd be surprised how many online coaches have this one size fit all structure, and
Mhm.
it just may not be the best one for you when you're paying thousands of dollars to realize that I did not vet this properly. This product is probably not for me. So that is so important. And when you were talking about entrepreneurship, all I can see is like a duck in a pond. You hear that
Mhm.
analogy? It's just floating, and then underneath you see the little feet going. If they only knew how hard it is
Yeah.
to run your own business and not just getting clients, you have to stay on top of things. If you have a LLC, and there's so many business components to it, and it's not cheap. And then, of course, you do have to continue to educate yourself so you can be someone that can get results for yourself so that you can have that social proof to attract those clients. So there's so much. But like, I can honestly say, and I'm one that's very transparent, it took me to my third year for me to feel like I was finally seeing some type of success. And it just was me doing it for myself, learning like audio events. I can actually teach people now
Yeah.
how to do audio. I have a whole entire community. But my very first audio event, I believe, was like what, 2021 or 22. So I've been doing audio events for a few years now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And now in 2025, I can say, you can pay me and I can teach you how to do it based off what I've learned and the trial errors and the mistakes. The mistakes
Right.
happen. People can't be afraid to make mistakes because actually your mistakes will help you better solve other people's mistakes. It's not like I always tell people when they say this and they're so shy, secure, or embarrassed to mess up or make mistakes, you'd be surprised how many people have made those same mistakes
Mhm.
that are glad you made that mistake so you can tell them how not to make that mistake.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, my last question to you, and then I'll open up the floor for anyone that want to join us and then kind of go through the comments. What are you most proud of about your journey? And what's one thing you want to make sure people take away from today's event?
I am most proud of what I call the ripple effect of me being a small business owner. So I help other people turn their ideas into income just like I did. So whether it's through live streaming, how to make soap, leveraging AI, virtual courses, I was always my first client to see how it worked. And then I think for me, when I say the ripple effect, it's someone else's business doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be successful. And I think I empower so many people to use what makes them unique to really build something that is truly remarkable. And like there's one girl, she says, unclonable. You're never going to find another Amalia, right? Because there are certain things about who you are, the experiences that you bring, um, your ethos, your values, everything that you do in your business is unique. Now, you might have similar platforms that other people use, but there's going to be a different outcome from for you because you're putting your very unique spin on that. And I think what makes me proud in my and no, Amalia is not my client, but I was just mentioning that as an example.
I
What
can be.
but what makes me proud is that I had the courage to actually see it through and not give up. And there were so many times when I wanted to give up because it didn't feel like the right thing. I think I said on another broadcast, I've always been ahead of the curve for what it is that I do. And that can be very isolating sometimes. When I first started live streaming, people said, "Well, what are you doing that for?" And then they said, "Why are you doing that?" And now those same people have come back and said, "How much can I pay you to teach me how you did that?" And if I would have been scared or nervous or unsure, some of those things could have pushed me off balance a bit. I wouldn't have published the books. There's just so much that I wouldn't have done had I not somewhere had that mustard seed of faith. And a lot of times it was just a mustard seed. And through all of the adversity that I did experience, it has not been just an amazing experience. I have had challenges and bad experiences, but what I can say 100% is that every experience has prepared me for the next thing that I was going to have to deal with, good, bad, or indifferent. So I have, and that goes all the way back to my very first corporate job. If you allow yourself to go through it, you will be very, very successful if you pull yourself up enough to look and see what lessons it was there to teach you.
I love it. And those are some valuable lessons I feel like some ignore, but you do have to take notice and make changes. What do
Yeah.
you think, Susie? Yeah, I was just about to say yes. Well, I'm going to pause us there and show love to those that are tuning in live. If you have any questions for Zakia, make sure you put those in the chat. And you can also join us live on stage. The cool thing is, we are doing an audio only event. So if you are at home in your pajamas on the couch, don't worry. You do not have to be on camera. I should say we are only audio only, so you will not be on camera, and we welcome you to join us live on stage if you want to add anything to the topic or just ask your questions live to Zakia. And then also too, I did see that Ollie and Chris tuned in. If you were to check your LinkedIn inbox, I did send you the direct link to join us live on stage. Now, Zakia, I put the link in our private chat if you
Okay.
want to post that on any of your streams.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that
And
now.
then while we do that, I'm going to highlight some of our comments and just to give shout outs. So, let's see. Oh, Claudia did say, did you get the text? Oh, I think you already addressed Claudia.
Yes. And
Oh,
Claudia is a long-time customer. She's been with me since 2016.
I love Ali with his. Is that irresistible,
Yeah.
Zakia? All right. And then here we have, I just want to make sure just a few more shout outs to you, Zakia. Chris did say you are brilliant. And then Chris also mentioned that he could use some decorative soaps.
Oh, I can help.
So definitely keep him in mind. We do have, I believe it's Erica Bates with us.
Yes. From the
And she,
Virtual Summiteers peer group. Hey, hi, Erica.
I was just about to say, I believe she's one of yours. And then, of course, I love Ali. He is giving us all the engagements today.
Yes.
And then, oh, here we go. Erica just wrote us again. She said, "You're growing too fast, too big for some, Zakia. Don't mind them naysayers. Keep moving forward. Love seeing you go further."
Oh, thanks, Erica.
I love it. Well, I am loving the support. And again, we are posting these links if you want to join us live on stage. I don't see anyone in the green room yet, but do you have, while we wait on them, I just want to make sure, do you have anything that you wish someone would have told you when you first started? And then what do you see in your future?
I would have wanted someone to tell me, trust yourself. You don't have, if you're creating something from scratch, there isn't necessarily a blueprint for you to follow. So don't go seeking the validation. Just keep moving forward and trust that what you're doing is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Um, I think that's the main thing that I would say. It's more about, yeah, trusting yourself. A lot of times we second guess and we're our biggest critics. And sometimes just getting out of your head and just keep going with what it is that you're doing could be really awesome. And what I'm doing next, is that the other question?
Yes, what do you see in your future?
Um, an ecosystem of solutions for small business owners that struggle with tech. So that will not be their Achilles heel in order for them to be successful with their products. I and 2015 was a very interesting year for me. That's also the year that I learned about the Alexander Hamilton soundtrack. Have you seen that, Amalia? Have you heard it? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna send you the Alexander Hamilton soundtrack. Oh, and Ollie doesn't see the link, and so I'm not sure how to
Okay,
get it to him.
I'm gonna post it in the comments on the Audio Leadership Club event. And then Ali, I send it directly to your inbox on LinkedIn. So if you go to your inbox, you should see it if you want to join us live.
Awesome. Yeah, so the Alexander Hamilton soundtrack is a story about one of the founding fathers, Alexander Hamilton, who happened to be an immigrant. And it was a huge sensation. And there are several lines on the soundtrack, but basically, it was what shared a little bit earlier. What is a legacy? It's sometimes planting a seed that you may never get to see. And then history has its eyes on you, right? You have no control of who lives, who dies, or who tells your story. And one really critical thing was I wanted to be the one that told my story. I didn't want someone else to be able to say, oh, well, she did this or she did that. I wanted to write that and have an impact on other people. So when I say an ecosystem for entrepreneurs, when I was in high school, and I know it sounds like this is going everywhere, but I swear I'm going to land. When I was in high school, I was taught typing because in the minds of the school district where I live, it was I was only supposed to be an administrative person. I wasn't supposed to go any higher than that. So when I got to college, all of my classmates who were in different high schools in different parts of the city, they had programming, right? And we were all going to school for computer science, but they had these coming out of high school. So I was 2 years behind the 8 ball. I see the same thing happening right now with so many small businesses in the city. They do not have access to the technology to compete in what is now a global marketplace. They're still stuck in the local brick and mortar, which all of them are closing. All of the malls are closing. Nobody's going into the stores. So, like I said before, not on my watch. Any entrepreneur that comes in my path and they have a product or a service to sell, technology will not be their barrier.
I love it. And Ali did join us in the green room.
Hey,
But
Arlie.
But before he join us, because I know I just want to make sure we have time to highlight everything for you, because I know you are our member spotlight for this evening. I would love for you to tell the audience about your last offer, and that is your free monthly community call.
Well, first of all, Amalia, thank you for creating such amazing graphics and QR codes to make this so easy. But what Amalia has put up there is my free monthly tech community calls. This is where I go every once a month and we do some kind of a technology walkthrough for small business owners. This month, tomorrow on the 20th, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, what we'll be doing is how to live stream for business. So, not just the mechanics of going live, but what are those systems that you have to have in place behind the scenes so that you can capitalize off of it, whether that be people buying from you or, again, that email list, but then also the technical pieces of how do you actually do it. So join us at the monthly community call. These are free. This is my that volunteer hour that I offer for there's always that free version of what we offer and I'm not giving you like any horrible experience with the free side. It is the best of what I would give you even if you paid. But this is a part of my ethos of making sure that no small business is left behind.
I love it. And I know we have a lot of people tuning in from their phones. So these links will be added to all of our comment sections after the event. All right. Well, I'm going to go and change our view and welcome Ali on stage.
Hey, Ollie.
Hi, Ali. How are you? Can you hear us? Uh oh. Ali, let's see. I'm going to go here. So I
No, he's
do not
there.
I see him appearing, but there's no audio for him. So you may want to leave out and come back in because I'm not sure. It's giving no sound for him, Zakia.
Uh-huh.
So
And I
we're gonna
just
keep. Oh, go ahead, Zakia. My
I
apologies.
just sent the link to Erica. She was saying she couldn't see it or couldn't get to it in the link. So I'm just letting her know I sent it to you in Messenger, Erica.
Okay, so we're gonna keep this view to allow you guys to join us on stage live. Zakia, while we're waiting, I'm going to put your QR code back up just to give people more time if they want to book that free monthly community call with you. And then I can highlight a few other QR codes just so we can figure out the tech. Ali, again, we cannot hear you. If you want to kind of jump out and come back in or figure out your audio, we cannot wait to hear from you. Okay, it looks like he's jumping out and coming back in. So I want to go back to your learn more QR code. And this is everything about Zakia, all four of her businesses. I love that for you, Zakia.
Yeah. All of them are listed.
That is a light flex, right? I should say a big flex right there. All four. But do you have anything else you want to remind them regarding this QR code that they can get access to?
Yeah, so there you can access my books. So if you're somebody who's curious about making your own soap, Live Soap School is there as well. And then, of course, Natural Soap by Zakia. If you're planning a virtual event or you're trying to get a conference created, I can help you with that. And then, last but not least, everything about Business Tech Lab. One other thing, I did embed an Ask Zakia widget at the bottom of that. So if you're ever on a live stream and you want to ask me a question or leave feedback, you can use that right there on that About page to record that message and it'll come right back. Um, but aside from the learn more, I do want to kind of showcase a bit about Amalia while we're here. Amalia has created this incredible audio leadership club, and I've been a part of so many membership communities. But when I tell you the structure that she has created in the space that she has created for the sharing of resources, the ability to grow, the ability to network, bringing in additional tech tools that we all can take advantage of. I just want to say hats off to you, Amalia. You have shown me exactly what a good community looks like and feels like. And I can tell a lot of thought went into it. And so that's Amalia's QR code up there. But Amalia, can you tell them a little bit about the Audio Leadership Club and why you started it?
Absolutely. So the funny thing is, I've always wanted to start a community, but I was afraid. I heard everyone say how overwhelming it is, and then you get the fear of, I'm going to announce this community and there's going to be crickets. So I literally waited. And what really pushed me to do it is when LinkedIn decided to get rid of audio rooms. And I noticed that our whole audio community dispersed, and you really didn't know who was hosting events where and what platform they were choosing to host those events. So I wanted a safe space to where we can test out the new technology, the different platforms. If you were running a podcast, if you had questions, or if you want collaboration, I just wanted a safe space for podcasters, events, whatever you're doing for our creators or anything leveraging audio. You can get that support, that knowledge in that community. And one thing I can say, Zakia, and it was so funny because I mentioned this in one of our meetings. I just started this community at the start of the year because LinkedIn got rid of audio events in November. We
Mm.
already have 49 members.
Wow. Well,
And
cheers to you for that. And of course, the community, but your leadership and structure is what makes that possible.
And I must say, we have some amazing members, as you see today, Zakia. But I always get so emotional. I don't know why. I am such a softie. But when I think about it, it's just amazing to be surrounded like Chris, who is really big in tech and said he have access to astronauts and tech and medical technology, and use Zakia and just hosting events on cruise ships and all of these things. And then Robert Kennedy, who's the speaker for the Baltimore Ravens. If you would have told me when I first had this idea that I would have so many powerhouses in this community, I probably wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah, but you do know like attracts like, right? So you're also in that powerhouse thing that you're describing.
I appreciate it, but I am looking forward to the growth. And I noticed you mentioned something about conferences if we need help. So
Yes,
I am
ma'am.
definitely coming to you so we can do Audio Leadership Club conference.
Oh, that would be so exciting. I'm producing the Lavender Conference in March. So I'll be traveling to Virginia. That's a hybrid conference. So they have a smaller group in person, but we'll be streaming it to, it looks like they're up to 400 registered attendees. So it's going to be a big deal. I'm excited about it.
I love it. And I see we have Ali back on stage. So we're at the 8 o'clock mark, but we know you were having some tech
Yay!
difficulties. So we're going to let you join us.
It
Oh, I
works.
love the fact that it says go bruncher. I love that.
Oh, community, community, community.
Exactly, and so that's why we are doing this. We are not doing this from only for us, but also for Chris, Erica, Claudia, and everyone who is watching live and on replay. I was having like, oh, it's great to listen to you while I was inside my bed, but I needed to jump to be. That's the la rançon du succès when the tablet is not working. But from A to Z, Amolia to Zakia, A to Z, your session is superb, superb, and with a zest of amazement about your journey. Um, for me, I still struggle because I need to heal my people pleasing. Because at some point, you have to say no to others if you want to say yes to what matters to you, to your business growth. Because else you are wearing a lot of others' buckets, and not only not yours at all. If you have any tip about I need to be everywhere and to attend, to be visible to others, and then you have only 24 hours in a day, and you are not really advancing in your. So if you have any tips about that.
Oh, absolutely. And I get it that, and again, this is where I criticize what I call the entrepreneur bros because they have this, yeah, post 70 times a day on 15 platforms. You'll die or you'll sleep when you die. That whole mentality is insane. And so what I would say is number 1, find out exactly where your target audience is, Ali. Have you defined who your target audience is?
Yes, the only thing is that I define it. It's do I really focus on them, or do I focus on things that doesn't really move my needle? Because else it's like it's too much foam. Put the soap metaphor. You are putting a lot of effort and you are producing a lot of foam,
Mhm.
but then you are easily emptying your soap
Yeah.
energy. And so it's really to, yeah, expats in my city, people in US or in Canada that are English speaking people or want, yeah. So I identified my clients. For me it's about, okay, uh, for any events, is it really bringing me income and clients? That's really my main question I'm going to tackle more, because it's easy. I spent dozens and hundreds and thousands of hours of, oh, I'm going to attend this and I'm going to attend that, and at the same time I'm not moving forward. So it's really that my
So
struggle.
this is what I would say, and I share this with a lot of entrepreneurs too. Sometimes we get so busy online, we forget what's happening right in our backyard. So you mentioned expats. Have you gone to any meetups that happen with expats? Because I mean, your French lessons are amazing, right? So I had a manager tell me once, act locally and think globally. And what that means is you focus on those people that are right in your backyard and you just leverage social media like your LinkedIn to showcase what it is that you're doing locally. If you're not getting the traction that you want on social media, I know, um, I think sometimes we miss the forest for the trees because the shiny thing is just post more, be ever present. 90% of every client I got was from an in-person interaction. The social media and the website, and That's aside from my soap making, the physical product. The services that I offer comes from me being referred by someone who worked with me or something like that. So, have you done anything locally? And the last part I'm gonna ask about that, or the piece about social media, is people are going to then research you on LinkedIn, on your website, wherever you say you are, and that's where they should be able to see reinforcement of what it is that you're saying you can do. So maybe the place for you to get clients and see the scaling of what it is that you do is locally where you are.
Thank you. This advice was really unique. So thank you so much for that. And now I yield the mic to Erica.
Real quick though, before we go to Erica, I do want to kind of give you a little bit of advice because I had the same issue, Ali, when I first started. So I was hosting a bunch of events and I wasn't making any money. I was just online. And yes, I love building my community, but like I love what Zakia said, you still have a business. If you're not making any money, it's a hobby. So I felt like it was turning into a hobby. And yes, I love my community, but I wasn't making any money. And then I had to realize I was not doing a good job at letting people know what my offer was. I wasn't leveraging my LinkedIn. I didn't have my featured link going to an offer to where they can easily access it. I didn't leverage my featured section. I did not at the end have a valid call to action. I wasn't posting the link within the actual event, guiding them to my offer. And another thing, too, if people are hesitant with a paid offer, I didn't have anything to where I could just capture their information to where I could convert them. And then that's when I created the Monday night coaching VIP listeners list. And then I grew it out. And then I start, being more intentional about directing people to that offer. And I start using my events as a funnel. And I can definitely say, Ali, I know you, I see you a lot, but I could not tell you what your services are. And that's not in a negative way. It's just you almost have to really make sure people know exactly what your expertise is. And I love the fact that Zakia said your French lessons. I was like, oh, that's amazing. My daughter wants to learn French. She's been on Duolingo all this time. So now it's like, send me your information. Let me know about your services. Smack me in the face with it. I know people say pitch slapping, but you also have to realize we are also a business. We have a business and making it visible for people. You don't have to be spammy, but you want to make sure it's clear and visible so they can know exactly what they need to go to you for.
That was brilliant. I'm hoping you're gonna do a LinkedIn masterclass because those little tidbits and nuggets about are you using all of this space appropriately is phenomenal. But I hope you found that useful, Ali.
Of course, as always, to be here, I am Ravi Oli.
Thank you so much for joining us. Erica, the mic is yours. Uh-oh. Erica, can you hear us? I see that she has sound. Erica, in the private chat, I'm going to spotlight you, Zakia.
Okay.
And then, Erica, let us know because we want to give you an opportunity to speak.
And Erica is a pro at live streaming. She's been doing it for a while, so she might just have a technical issue.
So it sounds like Erica needs to be on Monday Night Coaching then, since she's a pro at live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I did there, just Erica? You see what I did? All right. Well, Zakia, while we wait on Erica, is there any last remarks you want to leave for Ali, myself, the audience?
I guess the only thing I would say is if you have a hobby or a passion and you're considering selling it, give it a shot. Research what else is selling like it in your industry and what they're doing to make it impactful, but then really just get really, really comfortable in what it is that you're doing. I think everybody on this planet Earth has some gift, skill, or talent to share, and maybe you don't want it to be a business, but know that all hobbies, with the exception of a few, can turn into a business. And so please, please, please do know that um, if you are passionate about it, and that's the best type of business to have. If you love what you do, I'm not going to give you the cliche of you'll never work a day in your life because that's not true either, but it won't feel like work. It won't be a drag. And know that there are so many avenues around what it is beyond just the finished product. You can publish books for it, you can speak on stages about it, you can teach courses about it, and then you can also sell whatever that final product is. And so there are avenues out there. It is not the 1900s where it's just impossible. The tools and the technology exist for you to be able to get your product online without requiring a middleman to be able to sell it directly to a consumer or to another business. And I hope to see you in a community call.
I love it. And we're going to try again. Erica, can you hear us? Okay. So I think it was probably some technical issues. And you know what? I this is a really good example. So I just went and stalked Ollie's LinkedIn page. And I love the fact that right there it says, I help you to improve French. But I would say have a link to where it's easy for us to book or learn more about your services. So I would say definitely take advantage of that LinkedIn link that they allow you to put in your profile. So I do like the fact I do want to like recant because the funny thing is when we attend these events and there's so many people, and this is a really good thing to think about too. Sometimes we connect a long time ago, or maybe don't get a chance to really look at their profile. Having these things set, like if you're like, for example, Ali, you came on stage with us. I would say kind of have like things you can copy and paste. So in our private chat, where you can be ready to where you can click the link and we can see your services or network with you. So I would say always have whatever you're going to do networking on hand. When someone asks you about it, they can immediately go to it and schedule with you. What are your thoughts on that, Zakia?
I think you're absolutely right. I made the huge mistake of not leveraging that, but I think that's extremely useful. And it makes it easy for the flow of the show to be able to pull these things at the ready and be able to show them to the audience. So that's great.
Absolutely. And I'm not telling you to spam someone comment section, but if someone asks you, at least you're ready. And then that way you can really advertise your services and things like that. So, Ali, if you're still tuning in or listening on one of our streams, please send me that information. The fact that you teach French is amazing. And I feel like I have a few people that may be interested. So, I love it. All right. Well, Zakia,
Yes, ma'am.
before we leave, I just want to run through your QR codes. I know people are sick of me with these QR codes, but I can't explain how awesome you are, and having you as a resource is so important, especially if they're just starting out or even in their business. If your business is not making the money that you are hoping for or not really getting off the ground, I would highly recommend connecting. This is her LinkedIn profile. This is where you can learn all about her and the different things that she has to offer. And I would say take advantage, full advantage of that community call because it's free.
And extreme the best hour you will spend in your life. There's actionable things that you will walk away saying, I now know how to do with those community calls.
Now, Zakia, I'm going to pick on you a little bit before we close this call. So, we have a thing in our community called a member offer section.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I know where this is going.
And I do not see any of these amazing things in our member offer section. So, do I have to post them for you?
No, ma'am. It sounds like I have got some homework that will get done when we get off of this call.
I love it. No, but I'm just messing with
I
you.
love it. No, that's exactly what you do. And see, this is how Amalia keeps us engaged in the community. It's like, it's a gentle nudge, but you do know we have this space. Absolutely.
I love it. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I did see that Erica mentioned that I think she had issues with her mouse, so technical glitches. But Erica, I just want to thank you so much for joining us as well. And Zakia, if you're ready, we can close out tonight's event.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And I really enjoy being in the Audio Leadership Club.
I appreciate you. All right, everyone, have a wonderful